Hi, my name is Michelle Phoenix. I am a missionary's kid and MK from France, Germany, Canada, and the United States, and I'm thrilled to get to speak about transition with you today, mostly because when I transitioned to Wheaton, nobody had prepared me for what was ahead, and I think it's so important to come into a transition like this one, knowing a few suggestions that might make it a healthier experience. So, without further ado, let me give you 4 suggestions for transitioning well. The first one is release control of the process. Transition is a process, and there will be times when you feel like you're doing great, you are owning this transition, and there might be times when you feel like you're just doing one faux pas, one failure after the other. As you try to find your place and your footing in this new environment, my encouragement to you is to expect the ups and downs. That is the process of transition. It'll go from highs to lows and side to side as you progress into this new place that you're going to call home. Give yourself grace for those moments when you don't get it right or when you can't figure things out. And my extra suggestion to you is as you end each day, you will remember the things you did wrong. That's just a natural. It's the way our brains work. My encouragement to you is to intentionally remember the things you did right, the things you did better than yesterday, the things you figured out for the first time, so that you can balance some of the stuff that was difficult with the stuff that was good and prove to yourself that you are making progress along this convoluted process. Encouragement number 2 for you is use your cross-cultural skills. I realize some of you are completely new to the American culture, and others of you might actually hold a passport for the United States, but you've never lived here and certainly never as a college student. So my encouragement to you is that you would enter this new place as if you were entering a village somewhere in the remote regions of the globe. Use those same cross-cultural skills to try to figure this place out as you would that place. That means observe. That means analyze what you see. Try to figure out the systems and behaviors that seem odd or illogical to you, and give yourself grace when you don't get it the first time around. Find a way for you to enter this culture without expecting it to change to accommodate you. That was one of the things I did wrong when I was doing my own transition. Remember that cultures are made for those who belong in them to be comfortable, not for those who parachute into them as we all just have. So continue to think of this place as completely foreign. Apply the same curiosity and patience and grace to it as you would to that foreign village. Observe, ask questions, laugh at yourself. This will maintain your sanity in important ways. And if you can, find somebody that you consider a cultural coach, somebody who has been here longer than you have, who knows that you are not part of this culture, to whom you can go with your stupidest, most basic questions. They might laugh at you a little bit, but they won't mock you for not knowing what others might expect you to know. Suggestion number 3, realize that you're grieving. There is no transition without grief. It's just part of the process. You have just left one universe and entered another, and those people, places, customs, sounds, savors, languages of your previous world you've had to say goodbye to. So grief is normal and natural, and it is not weakness at this point. So when you feel it bubbling up, and bear in mind that it might bubble up as something that looks different than grief. It could look like anger or frustration or numbness or even hyperactivity. All of those can be signs of grief. When you feel it bubbling up, I encourage you to find a way to walk through it and not to avoid it. Go for a jog if it helps your body to feel better. Do some art, do some journaling. Most importantly, find somebody to express it to. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who came up with the 5 stages of grief, said, grief must be witnessed in order to be healed. And that is why it's so important to find someone to speak with. If there's nobody currently in this place, it's okay to reach back into your previous universe and talk to somebody who knew you then. But don't be surprised when grief enters your life. Recognize it when it does and do your best to process it. Recommendation number 4, be bolder than you might normally be. For some of us, initiating conversations with people we don't know or don't know very well is really difficult. I am a raging introvert, and I remember this in a painful way from my transitioning days, and that is okay. If you're an extrovert, thank God for the gift that He has given you. My encouragement to you is to join what you can join to reduce the circles in which you're trying to make friends, the clubs, the teams, the networks on campus. If you are shy, as I was, and it's hard for you to initiate, at least put your body in places where people people will see you and hopefully initiate with you. So go to the dorm gatherings, the dorm events. Go out to a church every Sunday with the same people. Find a group that you can sit with in the cafeteria to engage with and hopefully eventually form relationships with. I know this is hard, but you can do it. I've got to say this, I work mostly with missionaries' kids, MKs, and nearly without exception, the hardest part for them of transitioning back to their passport culture, as many of you are doing, is realizing that people here in the States don't enter into friendships the way they do. MKs tend to be really intense and really fast in our relationship building, and it's hard for us to adapt to the much more slow pace of what we're seeing in this culture. I could speak on this for an hour, and I don't really have time to do that today, but at the end of this presentation, take a picture of the screen I'm going to put up that has a couple suggestions for further reading on this topic, particularly if you're an MK. The bottom line is that you're here, and there are beautiful things ahead of you. There's friendship and flourishing and learning and accomplishing all in your future. We just need to get through the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of transitioning first. So I want to leave these 4 bits of encouragement with you, encouragement that I wish I had received when I was your age. I'll repeat them now just to anchor them to your memory. Number 1, release control of the process. It's going to have ups and downs, and there's nothing you can do about that. Let it play out the way it needs to. Number 2, use your cross-cultural skills as if this were a completely foreign culture. Number 3, realize that you're grieving and give yourself grace and attention when it bubbles up. And number 4, be bolder in this transition than you might normally be. Initiate when you can. And if things get hard, there is no shame in reaching out to somebody to tell them that you're struggling. That too can be part of the transitional process, and it will make it a lot easier if you're not walking it alone. So here's the screen I promised you with a couple suggestions of articles to read and my contact information. I live 10 minutes down the road, so don't hesitate to reach out. I want you to know that I pray for you as this year begins. May God bless you, sustain you, and empower you as you begin this new chapter of your life at Wheaton College. Thank you for your time today.